Hello everyone, it's Anton on the go here, and I'm currently at Pearson International Airport here in Toronto. And welcome, as I literally journey across the globe in search for the most beloved woman in history. She came to fame as a young Jewish teenage mother and is revered and loved not only by Catholics, but also by non-believers and those from different religions alike. As the woman who nursed and brought up the Son of God, she taught him how to walk, prompted him to perform his first miracle, and stood by him until the very end. Several publications such as National Geographic and Time have hailed her as the most powerful woman in the world. Regardless of race, color, or creed, whatever name we invoke her, her love is for all as she watches over us and intercedes on our behalf. And even though it has been a little over 2,000 years, she's more alive than ever today. This woman is no other than the Blessed Virgin Mary, the Mother of God, and our Mother. In the last segments, I traveled across Egypt, Paris, and Japan. But for this season, as 2025 marks the Jubilee year, come and join me as I travel mainly to Italy and to the French Alps. So come and join me as I journey to some of the many places where the Blessed Virgin has touched the lives of many. From the bustling streets of Rome, where Our Lady could be found in every street corner, to the French Alps where she wept and emphasized the power of words. From sworn enemies of the Church to one man's dream which translated to a permanent legacy which can still be seen today. From a cheap plaque in a rundown Sicilian neighborhood to processions in St. Peter's Square. So join me as I go in search for the Virgin Mary. One of the best things probably anybody could do when exploring the eternal city of Rome is simply to stroll around, because the entire city is one open-air museum. Aside from being the home to the famous Colosseum and other ancient ruins, Rome is home to several beautiful districts and piazzas, and one of the most well-known and lively gathering places is the Piazza di Spagna. There are many restaurants and shops in the area, as well as Vatican offices for the Congregation for the Evangelization of Peoples, which coordinates and guides the Church's missionary activities throughout the world. As tourists to the Eternal City pause to admire the spectacular set of staircases, the famous Spanish steps, which lead to a twin belfry church at the top, its lovely travertine fountain throws out spray, touching visitors everywhere. On an ordinary day, the Spanish Steps are always busy with flower vendors and people selling trinkets. And while a major tourist attraction, not many people know that this district of Rome is a catch basin of several Marian Shrines and spots within the vicinity. Come with me now as I continue my journey and pilgrimage to some of the Marian sites to Our Lady in Rome, the city of Mary. Famous in the movies, one of Rome's beautiful tourist attractions is the Piazza di Spagna and Spanish Steps. which are located on top of Pincio Hill. Piazza di Spagna's history is marked by its transformation from a suburban area to a cultural hub, primarily thanks to the Spanish embassy to the Holy See, established here in the 17th century, which gave the famed square its name. Interestingly enough, Italians don't call these steps the Spanish steps. They refer to them as La Scalinata, which is short for La Scalinata di Trinita dei Monti, which simply means the stairway of the Holy Trinity. Fun fact, funding of the stairway didn't come from the Spanish, but from the French. The Spanish steps built in Rococo style were built between 1723 and 1726. They are the steps that lead from the Piazza di Spagna square to the French monastery church of Trinita dei Monti. There are a total of 135 steps and 3 different terraces, each referring to the Holy Trinity. At the top of the stairs is an Egyptian obelisk and beautiful views of Rome. Our attention for this vlog, however, is focused on 3 noteworthy Marian shrines in the immediate area. The beautiful imposing column of the Immaculate Conception, the miraculous fresco painting of Our Lady entitled Mater Admirabilis, which can be found inside the Trinita dei Monti Church, and the Church of Santa Maria in Via, which is just a 10-minute walk away from Piazza di Spagna. Also around the corner of the piazza is the San Andrea del Frate Church, where Our Lady appeared and converted an agnostic Jew, Alphonse Ratisbon, which I will discuss in more detail in the next vlog. Hello everyone, it's Anton on the go here, and for today's episode of In Search of the Virgin Mary, I want to take you right here to one of the most popular tourist sites in Rome. You might recognize it already right behind me. And as you can see with the crowd over here, you might recognize this as the Piazza di Spagna and the Spanish Steps. So the Piazza di Spagna is a well-known and vibrant gathering place right here in Roma, and tourists who stop by here in the Eternal City come to pause and admire the spectacular set of staircases which lead to the twin belfry church at the very top, and they are known as Trinita dei Monti. The fountain here, which you can see behind me, you can't really see it because of the crowd of people. Yeah, there a bit. You can see a bit of the fountain. Is an Instagram-worthy spot for tourists who pose to take pictures, and on busy days like these, it's impossible to get a good picture. So like I said, the Spanish Steps are always very busy with flower vendors and people selling trinkets. And like I said, if you want a good photo here, it'll be quite impossible. It's very loud, nevertheless, still very beautiful. But just a 2-minute walk from Piazza di Spagna, where I'm pointing right now, is the huge facade of the Propaganda di Fide, or College of the Propagation of Faith. So I believe this building, many students from around the world come here to be trained for the priesthood. And if I'm not mistaken, it was also in that building where English convert and future cardinal and now Saint John Henry Newman attended this seminary and said his first mass. Now for our first stop in our Marian route is the column of the Immaculate Conception. Now in between the Spanish Steps and the Propaganda of Faith building right here, in Piazza Mignanelli, is the marble column of Our Lady of the Immaculate Conception. This column, this piazza, is dedicated to the Blessed Mother of the Immaculate Conception. Those of you who have visited the Spanish Steps most likely spotted this beautiful landmark to Our Lady, but you most likely didn't realize that this is actually considered a Marian shrine, an important Marian shrine to be exact. This column shrine was a favorite of the popes, such as Pope Benedict XVI and most recently Pope Francis, who would celebrate Mass here every December 8th. So atop the 80-foot column is a bronze statue of Mary Immaculate, which was inaugurated on December 8, 1857, to commemorate the proclamation of the dogma of the Immaculate Conception on December 8, 1854. The statue of Mary you see here is the work of Giuseppe Obici, probably botched his name, and the works were financed by King Ferdinand II, King of the Two Sicilies, as he was called, as a symbolic gesture of reconciliation with the Church. And as mentioned, the project was entrusted to the architect Luigi Poletti, who realized a rather elaborate work. Right, so he made this elaborate work, and the column of veined Cipollin marble is about 12 meters high, with a diameter of 1.5 meters, and it stands on a marble base, which bears 4 bas-reliefs recalling the Annunciation, the Dream of Saint Joseph, the Coronation of the Blessed Virgin, and the promulgation of the Dogma of the Immaculate Conception. Also on the base are 4 prophets of the Old Testament, Moses, Elias, Ezekiel, and Malachi, who wrote the prophetic words about the Immaculate Conception and the Blessed Virgin Mary. Now, this column landmark is said to be of Roman origin and was found in the year 1777 in the excavations of the Benedictine convent of Santa Maria in Campo Marzio. Due to its incomplete construction, however, it had probably never been used and was even perhaps in the remains of a marble workshop. So this column remained beside Palazzo Montecitorio. And it probably I probably didn't pronounce that right anyway, but the column remained there for about 80 years until about 1854, when Pope Pius IX decided to build a monument in honor of the Blessed Mother, following the solemn declaration of the dogma of the Immaculate Conception. So this work was completed by architect Luigi Poletti, and as I said, it was inaugurated in 1857 on December 8, thanks to the work of 220 firemen. Because the raising of the column was the work and help of 220 firefighters, it has become an important annual tradition where each year on December 8th, Roman firefighters and police play a significant role as the Church celebrates the solemnity of the Immaculate Conception. The Holy Father visits the Piazza di Spagna to place roses as an act of homage to Our Lady, at the statue of the Virgin, and Rome's fire department, as well as several big secular organizations, gather in the ceremony as a long ladder is raised to place a wreath of flowers on the Blessed Mother's right arm. These roses indicate the love and devotion of the Pope, the Church, and the Roman people for the Virgin Mary. With these roses, they want to depose themselves of all their anxieties and place their hope at the foot of the Celestial Mother of the Redeemer. I now bring you to the Church of Trinita dei Monti, which is just on top of the Spanish Steps. While the church itself is famous and a favorite picture spot for tourists, not many people know that inside the convent attached right next to the church, there is enshrined a beautiful miraculous fresco image of the Blessed Mother. Since the miraculous image isn't enshrined in the church itself, but within the private domain of the Convent of the Madams of the Sacred Heart, the sisters have made the corridor shrine accessible to the public. Today, however, the convent has been entrusted to the Emmanuel community since 2016. To get access inside and to see Our Lady, one has to climb the 135 steps of the stairs, and upon facing the church, a wide staircase beside Trinita dei Monti leads up to the entrance of the convent and a doorbell. A porter or volunteer usually greets you, and with a simple request to visit Mater Admirabilis, or Mother Most Admirable, you are directed to another flight of stairs that leads you to the second-floor corridor. The history of this miraculous image of Our Lady is quite unusual. Yet it is a story filled with simplicity, love, and the powerful intercession which Mary has for those who surrender and give their all to her. I personally found this shrine to be among my favorite spots in Rome, since it is a sanctuary of peace and quiet amidst the noise of bustling Rome. Nestled under a low vault, lit by the dim light of narrow windows overlooking the central courtyard of Trinità dei Monti, is a chapel named after a fresco located in a small alcove, Mater Admirabilis, or Mother Most Admirable. The fresco, framed by a golden mosaic, depicts an episode in the life of Mary as a young adolescent teenager, in particular during her visit to the temple with her parents Saints Joachim and Anne. Other sources say, however, that the fresco depicts the moment of Mary's pondering right after the Annunciation, where Mary had given her yes to be the mother of the Lord. In my opinion, this is one of the most beautiful images of the Blessed Mother, and unlike other depictions of Mary, where she is portrayed as wearing blue or white, here, Our Lady is wearing pink, and in the moment of solitary work, as she holds a needle and a ball of thread in her hand. Hello everyone, here with me I have a special guest with me. Here is Olga, and she is a teacher here at Trinità dei Monti, and we are in the chapel of Mater Admirabilis, or Mary Most Admirable, one of the miraculous images of the Blessed Mother here in Rome. So Olga here will share a little bit about the history of this very unique and precious image of the Blessed Mother. How are you doing, Olga?
Hello everybody. It's very nice to have this possibility to meet you here in this very particular place in Rome that is not very well known, in fact, because we are here in a small chapel that is behind the Church of Santa Trinita, that is in the very famous place, the so-called Spanish Steps. So a lot of tourists come in here making photos, but not everybody can discover this place. So I hope that maybe some of you that watch us one day when you will be in Rome, you will remember about this beautiful and very important place here.
Yeah, so thank you very much for that introduction, Olga. So could you tell us a little bit about the history of this beautiful image as well? Yeah.
So here the Mother Mary that we can see was painted by a young girl, French. Her name was Pauline, and she came to Rome to live with the Sacred Heart sisters that in that moment were living in this convent in Trinità dei Monti, and their mission was to fund schools in that moment for girls. It was the time when Catholic schools were separated for girls and boys, so here there was a school for girls, and sisters had a beautiful mission to teach young ladies so that they in their future could become wives and mothers that know the gospel and that will share the Catholic faith with their families, and also the schools for poor girls that they could receive the basic abilities to live independently. And that's important to understand also better the image, just this introduction. So Pauline was living with the sisters. She was also recognizing her vocation, making discernment, and she was also an artist. She had this gift to paint, and she had a desire to paint Mother Mary. She asked the responsible mother of the convent to have this opportunity to make a fresco, so this technique that you paint on the wall. At the beginning, mother that was responsible wasn't very happy with this idea. She said, no, maybe you should wait, maybe not now. But Pauline had really strong desire. And finally, she received from the mother a place that was not very important in the convent, because here wasn't a chapel at the beginning. It was just a corridor, just a place for meeting, but not very important place. And Pauline painted a fresco with Mother Mary. Also very interesting. At the beginning, sisters who saw the image, they thought that it is not very beautiful. So they decided to cover with a material this fresco.
Young Pauline was initially disappointed by the outcome. However, divine providence had greater plans in store. 2 years later, on October 20th, 1846, Pope Pius IX visited the monastery and upon seeing the covered wall, expressed his desire to view the postulant's painting of the Madonna of the Lily, by which time the colors had faded and blended together, creating a much softer image. Upon seeing the fresco, the Pope is said to have exclaimed, "Mater Admirabilis," Mother Most Admirable, and authorized the changing of the corridor into a chapel.
And then sometime later, when one of the bishops was here, he asked what is behind this material. They showed the wall, and everybody could see the beautiful image of Mary. So there are two explanations. I think that we can combine both of them. One is that Mother Mary made a miracle and made her image beautiful, and the other is more scientific, that in the alfresco technique you need time so that the colors can take their true and their vivid the true colors of the paints.
It was softened,
because it depends on the temperature, on the humidity, so the chemical process needs some time to make it all true and beautiful. So the Mother Mary, now Mater Admirabilis, but at beginning she was called Madonna del Giglio, so the Madonna of Lily, as we can see, the flower of lily, that is a symbol of purity. And one day when the Pope Pio IX was visiting sisters, he thought, when he saw Mary, and he thought, lei è veramente Mater Admirabilis, so she is really Mater Admirabilis, the miraculous mother. Also it is the prayer that we say in the Litany of Loreti, Mater Admirabilis, pray for us. And Mother Mary is represented here as a young woman, so that's why it was also the idea of Pauline to help these students, young girls attending the school here, to find in Mary their friend, their mother that is very close to them, to show them that Mother Mary is with them. So we have in the moment of Annunciation, and I really love this image because for me it is the beautiful expression of a life of contemplation and of a work of action together, how to live this unity. So I learn all the time how to find this harmony in life, because we see, maybe I will show, I don't know the English word exactly for this thing that served to sew the materials in old times. So it is the thing that serves to work, to help others. But Mother Mary here is depicted in a moment of a pause. We can see her hands laying down on her knees. We can see her eyes looking down in the moment of thinking, praying, contemplation. Also the open book, probably the psalm book or the prayer book. So Mother Mary just taking her time to be in the Lord, but also ready to work. So there's just a moment. And then what also touches me as I have this opportunity to live in Rome, the sky, because these colors are really the colors of the sunsets in Rome. When there's the moment of sunset, the sky is so many colors.
So many colors,
really, I'm sure that Pauline was observing the sky here in Rome, and she was inspired with those colors. So that's the beauty of the message of Mother Mary here.
And I really like what you said a while ago, Olga, when you said this part of the convent wasn't any place of importance.
No, later it became a chapel later, because here more and more people were visiting sisters and praying, and there were a lot of testimonies about the prayers that were
being answered.
Being
yeah.
answered,
yeah.
exactly. One of the first, let's say, big miracles that is also there's the testimony of this, was the missionary priest who came here to pray because he had big problems with his throat. He was losing his voice, and he was missionary. So missionary without voice, it is a problem. He couldn't share the gospel, and after the prayer here, he was healed.
Wow.
He could do his mission and go to share the love of God.
Yes, that's beautiful, Olga. And are there still miracles happening today?
Yes, there are a lot of testimonies also, like of the healings, of the conversions, of the people that somebody pray for others. We have here also this basket that we start every week. There are a lot of cards from pilgrims that come here, and once a week on the altar here there's a celebrated mass and all of these intentions from pilgrims. Here also, because maybe it's not usual nowadays, but 100 years ago there was this tradition to leave these hearts as a sign of of gratitude of the prayers that pilgrims left here. So all the walls here are full of these signs.
The ex voto, ex voto. Oh, that's very impressive, Olga. And now, you as a teacher, living here, do you visit the chapel always of Mater? Or?
Yeah, for me it's a very special place here, even sometimes before my job or after. I was just even for 1-2 minutes of prayer, of just leaving Mother Mary all the students that I was having that day. But also I had the possibility to bring here very young children, even those of 2-3 years old, who are leaving their small hearts or just small images to Mary to know her also. We were learning here how to pray Ave Maria, the prayer, very beautiful. But also there's a beautiful tradition in the school that the children that are receiving their first communion just before the Mass come here, and every child brings to Mother Mary a flower of lily. And then they leave these white flowers here in vases, and so there's a beautiful smell of lilies. But I'm sure that for those children, it's also a very strong memory of the day of their first communion, that Mother Mary is with them, is guiding them to Jesus.
Yeah, oh, beautiful. And what's very interesting is because she's pink here. Usually Mother Mary is wearing blue or white, but here she is pink. Is there a significance to that one? Why
maybe
pink?
there is more significant in the art that I don't know, but what I've read and what is beautiful that it is this like the feminine color, so showing her as a woman, her as an example for all the girls that were in the school of this life with God, of this life of also vocation to be a woman, to work as a woman, and to stay always close to Lord, to find Him in our prayers.
Oh, that's beautiful. And what happened to Pauline after? Did she become a nun also? She became a sister of the Sacred Heart?
I think that yes, but sincerely I don't know very well the story.
That's okay. Yeah, and who is Mater to you, Olga?
Good question.
Who is Mater to you? You as a teacher. As a teacher myself, I'm sure you understand that it's not easy to become a teacher, especially these days. But who is Mater to you in your work here, in Rome, and in your daily life?
So I think that here in this chapel, I really could find the deep peace. And sometimes maybe in the little bit stressful moments, or in the moments in my life when I had to make an important decision, I really was coming here, and I could, in Mother Mary, find this inner peace, praying to her, with her, to Jesus. And yet discovering, and maybe she had to remember that in the life there is more life in the life, that our everyday works, things to do. Sometimes it's easy to
Yes.
to have a lot of activities, but coming here even for a few minutes of prayer, praying the rosary, like it helps us it helped me to remember about the importance of life in itself, and not only the activities that are important, what we do for Lord, but also to find this time to be heart to heart with Jesus in these everyday activities. But another thing was also that I was really touched when I could observe people coming here to pray. Oftentimes there were all families coming from different parts of the Lord, mainly from Japan, as not only from Europe, because there are a lot of people, but from Japan, for the countries of Latin America, from Canada as well, that were the ex-students of the Sacred Heart schools, bringing their families or their friends here and there. Like oftentimes I saw the tears coming from their eyes. I was so touched to finally see this original picture of, because in their school in their chapels they have these copies of Mother, and they really pray there a lot. But here I know that for them it was very important during their visit in Rome, in the heart of the church, to come here, a special place for them.
Oh, that's beautiful. And when is her feast day usually for the Sacred Heart?
It is in October 21st, I think, but I should check it.
Yeah, no worries.
Later.
October 21st. Okay.
I will confirm.
Is there anything, you as a teacher, and maybe to teachers who are watching also here, is there any message that you want to leave, like a last reflection to our viewers, and why it's important to have devotion to Mary?
Yeah, I would say that this, like in our times, the importance of prayer. And also after the Jubilee of Youth last week, the words of Pope Leo really touched me. Also, like when he was inviting us to pray for peace, I thought about Mother Mary, also invitation in Fatima to pray for peace, especially like the Rosary prayer. And that I invite all of us to make these battles in our everyday life, or to find some moments with the Lord. And Mother Mary is the best example and best help to get closer to the heart of Jesus.
Nicely said. Thank you so much, Olga, for doing this interview. I really appreciate it. Again, this is very providential, and thank you to the Sacred Heart Institute as well for spreading this beautiful devotion to the Blessed Mother. So when you are here in Rome, I highly suggest that, of course, I'm sure you will come by the Spanish steps at some point. Make sure that you don't only stop by the steps, but to go up and go inside the convent and visit the Blessed Mother. And because not many people also know this, but Don Bosco, Saint John Bosco himself, came here often to pray to Mater Admirabilis, Mary Most Admirable.
Many great saints and popes such as John Bosco, whom I've just mentioned, Thérèse of Lisieux, and Pope Pius X have all venerated the Little Virgin of the Corridor through the centuries. And in every school run by the Society of the Sacred Heart, there is always an image of Mary, Mother Most Admirable, venerated by the students and the staff. The Blessed Mother portrayed as a young woman is especially fitting and symbolic in this context, because it represents that Our Lady chooses to abide herself with the young, a call for all educators and people from all walks of life to take care of the youth, that every one of us has a duty to shape the minds of the young with the goal of bringing them to Jesus Christ. This is Mary's way. And also, just like how Pauline's efforts and hard work on the painting seemed initially fruitless and were deemed ugly, God always has a way to turn these opportunities into something beautiful. Our Lady had rescued the young postulant from disgrace and embarrassment, and the beautiful story of Mater Admirabilis shows us that we can always turn to Mary whenever we are desperate for our needs. because she is always a solution to mend our problems. I now bring you to another section of Rome, just a 10-minute walk from Piazza di Spagna to the Church of Santa Maria in Via, or the Church of Our Lady of the Way, where enshrined inside is an image of Madonna del Pozzo, or Our Lady of the Well. This unique church, whose origins date back to before 995 AD, is located between Via del Tritone, Galleria Alberto Sordi, Via del Corso, and is also a stone's throw from the Trevi Fountain. Those who are familiar with this Marian story call this the Little Lourdes of Rome, a story of devotion spanning 8 centuries, with Our Lady's sweet and maternal face as the object of veneration, and she is often invoked here as the dispenser of graces. Right in the heart of the exclusive shopping area in central Rome is the Church of Santa Maria in Via, or Our Lady on the Way. The church contains the miraculous image of the Madonna of the Well, and there is a very interesting story connected with the image. Prior to the miracle, Little Santa Maria in Via at that time was similar to other Romanesque brick churches of the area. The land beside it belonged to Cardinal Pietro Capocci, who had a barn adjacent to the church where he kept his horses. Though the small church had been a neighborhood landmark for a couple of centuries, there was nothing special about it to attract the average pilgrim. That is, until a miracle occurred in 1256, which attracted much attention and made it a popular center of Marian devotion. As the story goes, in 1256, during the night between September 26 and 27, a servant of a cardinal threw an image of Our Lady into a well near the stable. It is not clear if he did this accidentally or on purpose. The image was painted on a heavy terracotta brick. Naturally, the image began to sink. However, before reaching the bottom, there was a sudden and powerful resurgence of the well water, which carried the image back up to the surface. Cardinal Capocci and his household had retired on the evening of September 26, when the high-pitched neighing and whining of the prelate's frightened horses shattered the silence of the night. The stablemen ran out to discover the cause of such an unusual disturbance. They were astonished to find the horses panicking in more than ankle-deep water, which was overflowing from the nearby stable. The well began to overflow, and the cardinal was amazed, and with great devotion, he reclaimed the sacred image that was now miraculously floating on the water.
Hello everyone, so I'm now currently in the Church of Santa Maria in Via, or Holy Mary of the Way. Now, since I'm inside the church, I have to speak in a low voice out of respect and reverence. But I just wanted to show all of you viewers this very special Marian chapel in this very beautiful church right here in Rome. Now, unlike the other Marian sites within the Piazza di Spagna and the Spanish Steps, within that vicinity, this is a bit out of the way, but still within the area, around a 5 to 10 minute walk. Because within this church, a special miracle took place here on September 26, the year 1256. So the chapel that you see behind me is dedicated to the venerated image of Madonna del Pozzo, or Our Lady of the Well, because as I've mentioned, on September 26, 1256, a miracle took place right here. So that night between September 26 to 27, as the story goes, a small painting of the Blessed Mother, which is enshrined here today, as you can see where I'm pointing, came to light because of the overflowing of a well on the stable which used to stand here. There was a stable here at one point, and it belonged to Cardinal Pietro Capocci. So the water in the well suddenly came to the brim and began to overflow. And floating on top, however, on this well was a piece or slab of stone with an image of Our Lady painted on it. The cardinal rescued the image and the water immediately receded to its usual level. And eventually, because of this miracle, a canonical process gave approval to the miracle, and Pope Alexander IV had the miraculous image placed for the veneration of the faithful in a chapel, which you see today, built over the well and stable it had been found. And since then, Our Lady of the Well has been obtaining graces and cures for those who drink the water from the well, even up to today. So while this church is not as known, the shrine though is quite popular here in Rome, and the Romans visit this chapel throughout the day to invoke the intercession of Our Lady of the Well. As the story goes, the servants of the cardinal attempted to remove the terracotta image of Our Lady from the water, but each time they failed to do so, the miraculous image slipped from their hands and fell back into the water. It was only when the cardinal arrived that he was able to pick up the image with ease. This emphasizes the profound respect which Mary has for the Church and her clergy especially, as if requesting for the laity to pray for them continuously, solidifying the belief that she is indeed the mother of all priests. In this miraculous floating Madonna, Our Lady is portrayed in a red tunic and blue veil, with a dark green lining. The expression on her face gives the impression that she is listening intently to the worries and problems of her clients, with that unique compassion of a mother, the very best of mothers. The stable had been converted into a chapel after the Pope was convinced of the authenticity and miraculous nature of the floating Madonna. It was the Holy Father himself who carried the holy image in solemn procession back to the converted stable, where it was enthroned over the altar situated near the well where the miraculous icon came from. From that time on, many faithful have taken the water from the well and brought it to the sick. Even as at Lourdes, our Blessed Lady recognizes their simple faith and rewards her clients with miraculous cures. Santa Maria in Via became a parish church in 1452, and eventually the Servite order were given charge of it in 1513. And by 1551, the church was raised to the dignity of a cardinal's titular church. A plaque commemorating and marking the miracle is placed on the facade of Santa Maria in Via. Inside, the well of the Virgin where the miracle took place is still preserved, and pilgrims continue to come and drink from a faucet the cool, refreshing water which the Blessed Mother had blessed almost 8 centuries ago. People to this day still report miraculous cures from the Virgin of the Well. Several popes, including Saint Pope John Paul II, have visited this tiny shrine and drank from the healing waters as a sign of devotion to Mary. Similar to other famous images of Our Lady, a solemn papal coronation of the Madonna of the Well took place on January 17, 1646. For the 700th anniversary of the miracle, in 1956, a beautiful crown was designed by Father Florenzo Gobbo of golden leaves over stylized waves, signifying the overflowing water of the well. On the waves are affixed the traditional 12 stars of Mary. The sanctuary of Our Lady of the Well has much of the simplicity and poverty of Nazareth about it. It is the quiet, unassuming presence of a mother that truly makes a house a home. This little chapel of the Madonna is not only another church in the Eternal City, but truly a home, not only for her beloved Romans, but for everyone as well. In Italian culture and history, piazzas were important to the average person because they were gathering places for the ordinary folk. And here in Rome, the Marian Shrines that dot the Piazza di Spagna and the area surrounding it symbolizes Our Lady's quiet presence,
as she desires to meet and accompany us in our daily and busy lives. She is our strength, just like the majestic and imposing pillar of the Immaculate Conception. She is our mother who sits and waits, inviting us to ponder in the quiet corridors of a convent. And she is our mother who always seeks to heal and listen to our pleas as we journey along the way. So if you are in Rome, or the next time you come to Rome, make sure you pay a visit to our Blessed Mother in these beautiful spots, because she is always waiting with open arms, always eager to bring us to the true source of healing, and that is no other than Jesus. For more similar content, be sure to click the like and subscribe button on Anton on the Go. God bless and Ave Maria.